Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
You've heard him before, and Chris MacDonald's name is known so much in South Florida. He actually lives in South Florida. He plays all over the country and probably the world because Elvis is a world person now. It started out in Memphis, but you can't pass up music like this. It is so beautiful. You tap your toes. And so we're so lucky that Chris does get a chance to perform here in South Florida for us. And it's coming up Saturday, August the 17th from 1:30 and 7:30. And you just have to go see this. So I have Chris on the line now because we do a lot of talking about Elvis. And for those of you who've been listening to the show, when we do have him in as an interview, I wanted to bring him back and wanted to talk about a few more things. So thanks for coming back on the show, Chris.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
So
Thanks for having me.
Okay, let's talk about his clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because he was a kid in Tennessee. I mean Memphis and all. Why did he wear those things? What did the people usually wear when they were performing?
He liked the look of pink and black and different patterns, and he liked dressing sharp. That's what he liked. He saw some of the performers that he looked up to in the rhythm and blues market.
And who were they? Wait, before you get off that. So who would they have been?
Well, there was a bunch of the acts around at the time, like, B.B. King from it was in Memphis around the same time, and a bunch of the earlier gospel groups. They all just, had a kind of a suit, and they all had like
right.
I guess you can call like uniforms.
Yeah.
Almost like uniforms, but flashy uniforms. So I think that's what he really enjoyed is that kind of look of being on stage at the same time he's not on stage. So I think he really enjoyed walking around like that too. He loved the sharp outfits. He liked the cufflinks. He liked the black and white. See, that's what I do. I like the black and white, the two-tone shoes, the black and whites, or the blue suede shoes, that kind of thing. So those were the early years. That's part of what we do with our show too. I want to wear some of the similar clothing to bring you into those eras of the career. So that early 50s, the black and white shoes, the white jacket with a collar turned up, black shirt, black pants,
right,
and that kind of a style. And he had designers. Once he got famous, he had Nudie Cohen was his name. He designed a lot of outfits for him, and then later on, Bill Ballou made the jumpsuit designs, and of course they had all kinds of people that were trying to make sure he was dressed the way he wanted to be dressed. But it was a statement. He was rock and roll cool. I mean, that's how you got to look at it.
Yeah, and of course you had to look at all those and have them made. I mean, do you have a special designer that makes those clothes to match his?
Yes, I actually have someone in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. That, yep. They also do the work for Dollywood and for Dixie Stampede and some of those country shows, and they're the ones that do the work for me. And I kind of make it my own though. I mean, I don't go too over the top with the outfits because I just prefer like the white fringe outfit from 1970s, and I like the black leather, the leather jacket and leather pants, that 68 comeback. And in the movies, a lot of the movies, he'd wear that, like the short jacket, bolero-style jackets.
Yeah.
You'd see him in those movies like that.
Mm-hmm.
You do a little twisting, like to Return to Sender,
Right.
So, that's kind of what we do with the show and to represent some of the movies. But he definitely, his image, not just his music, not just his vocal, not just his acting or his recordings of music, he did present rock and roll style. I mean, he, with his appearance, he represented something, like you said, that was so unique. Before, of course, you had crooners. Frank Sinatra was wonderful. He was an idol, and he had a certain look. He had nice outfits too, Frank. He wore the nice suits there in the early years, and of course the tuxedos later on. But Elvis kind of represented the crossover to that whole different kind of fusion of culture and flashy kind of rock and roll thing.
And talking about Frank Sinatra, we know that Frank and Elvis did a show together.
Yes, at the Fountain Blue. When Elvis was in the Army, when he got out, Frank and a bunch of the guys there put on a Welcome Home Elvis television special right there at the Fountain Blue.
I've got goosebumps. I didn't realize that's how it happened. Oh.
Yeah, it was great. And he came out in his Army uniform, and they did a big welcome and a little skit there. And then later on, he ended up performing a few songs, and he also sang "Love Me Tender" with Frank. They both took a verse of "Love Me Tender." It was great. It was great.
Oh yeah, no, well, it's so lovely. And you just said something that's true. If you name people, the famous singers, you have a couple of opera stars that just stood out, and then you have, I think Dolly Parton is one of them. Of course, Frank Sinatra, Elvis, and I don't quite know. I mean, there are a lot of other singers, but they are really...
you got icons, Barbra Streisand.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, Barbra Streisand's an icon, but Elvis is right there. I mean, he... I mean,
when you hear an Elvis song, you know.
Yeah.
It's Elvis. When you hear a Frank Sinatra song, it's Frank.
Right.
And when you're an artist that your performances and your music and your style has also influenced others after you, then you've done something.
Yep.
And I think that's present. And of course too with Frank Sinatra, he influenced. You've got Harry Connick Jr. and Michael's doing it now too.
Yeah, right. Bublé, right.
So he basically took on the mantle of the Frank Sinatra style and sound, and he's got a great living and doing that now.
Let me just tell everybody again, if you just tuned in, I'm having this marvelous conversation with Chris MacDonald. He does Memories of Elvis. It's in tribute. And he is really the only tribute artist that's hired by Elvis Presley Enterprises to perform at Graceland Heartbreak Hotel. So that says an awful lot.
Graceland.
I said Greenland, right?
Greenland would be too cold for me.
Graceland, sorry.
Graceland.
Right. Well, we need some cold here down in South Florida.
We do.
Yeah, but Graceland.
I did 7 years for every January, which is the birthday month. They do a birthday celebration every August for the Memorial Tribute. And I got to perform for fans from all over the world that came into Memphis to go to Graceland, and I mean from all over there, from Japan, England, all over. Matter of fact, there was somebody there from Greenland. So there was Greenland people from Iceland. There was
really?
I think there was an alien or two too coming from outer space.
It's so bad.
But
I would think that would be very scary for people to go there and hear you, because you are so much like him. I'll bet some people, if they had too much to drink or something, they'd say, "Here he is! He came back! We're here."
There's another story. I'm not sure if I told you this before, but maybe I did or not. But I was actually doing a sound check. Besides performing in Graceland, I also did some stuff off the Graceland site at the Peabody Hotel. And the Peabody.
I know that's where the Ducks go, right? Aren't those?
Yeah. I did a concert over there too, and I was doing a sound check earlier during the day, and there's people walking around, and I was singing "Can't Help Falling in Love," and this very nice, well-dressed, kind of pretty older lady in jewelry and a tracksuit, just really, you could tell she was something, and she came over and she said, "Are you lip syncing?" I said, "No. This is."
Are you lip syncing?
Yeah. I said, "No. This is I'm singing
me.
live," and And she goes, "Wow, I thought that was
right,
Elvis." And I said,
"That's right."
"Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that." And she said, "Well, I should know. I was Elvis's mother-in-law."
What?
It was Priscilla's mom.
Oh no! You never told me this. No kidding.
Yeah. Oh, it was just very nice. It was a very nice.
Really was nice. Oh my goodness!
It was a very nice statement, and I said, okay, I think maybe this lady is from outer space, and she's telling me a story, right?
Right.
So I figured, okay, I appreciate the compliment,
right.
but of course, what I ended up doing is I called over at the office and I asked if she was around town and around, and they go, yes, she is.
So you knew she wasn't from outer space. Okay, well, I want everyone to go and see him. I hope we've whetted your appetite enough to know this is where you want to be. It's cool in there. The parking's great right outside. Saturday, August 17th, pick your time, 1:30 in the afternoon or 7:30 at night. And the way you can get your tickets, you can actually go to browardcenter.org, and you'll see other things, but make sure you pick this one, browardcenter.org. And then if you decide you'd just rather call, it's 954-462-0222. And, of course, they do have even a reduced price if you want to bring a group, and that would be a lot of fun. You could all go out to dinner, or you can just have lunch and then go, whatever you want to do. But you would not forget it. And I have to tell you that I've told this, my audience is very loyal to me, and I go to a lot of things, lots of performances, music, theater. And when you come out of hearing Chris, you just shake your head and say, oh, my goodness, boy, he is Elvis. And I always tell this to Chris. He said, no, I'm not, just a tribute artist, because you keep,
it's a tribute.
I know, but you do such a great job with this. He has these gorgeous outfits. He has the kind of body that Elvis would have loved, and he's...
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's true, and the outfits are just stunning, and also he's kind. After the performance or during the break, I don't remember when he did this, he brings flowers to the people there. In fact, when I went to see him in Palm Beach, he actually gave a flower to a man, and I don't know if the man was giving it to his wife or his girlfriend or for himself. I'm not sure. But he gives these lays out.
Yes.
I mean, you just
the lays and the scarves.
I know it. Yep. I mean, you just don't stop, and it's just lovely, and it's not expensive. You should go and see it. You don't have to wait to go to Las Vegas to see him. See him here, right here in Broward County. It's worth it. So tell me something. We talked about this is bad, and I just have to do it. So your wife, is she jealous? And then you could have all the women just like Elvis did. So how do you keep your life good?
No. She understands. She understands what I'm doing, and she knows exactly what you're doing on stage is relaying the memories of Elvis. With bringing back his not his persona, but a tribute to his persona. There's only one Elvis. I'm doing a tribute to. I'm trying to do a tribute to the way Elvis made you feel.
Right.
Because what's that phrase? People may forget what you say, they forget what you do, but they never forget the way you make them feel.
That's right. You're good.
So
that's it.
If we can have you feel that you've shared the memories of Elvis with us, and that you're smiling, and that you remember a wonderful time in your life, or that you remember your wedding song, which may have been "Can't Help Falling in Love,"
right.
or when you when you had your firstborn child, and you heard the wonder of you.
Yeah.
So these are things we try to do.
Do you sell CDs after the show so people can?
Yeah, right after the show, I go out to the merchandise table, which is out in the lobby. Mm-hmm. And if you want to take pictures, you want to sit in my lap and take a photo, you want to, have me sign something, I've got scarves that I give out on stage. And if you want to come up and have the scarf signed, or if you want to have a picture signed, or we have CDs and we have DVDs. And the CDs and DVDs are our full production show. And it's actually the one that we had with a very famous guest star, DJ Fontana, Elvis's drummer. Mm-hmm. And he's actually there on the video and the CD with us. So you got a piece of history with these CDs and DVDs. And, those are available at the table. But I make sure that I stay there. And I love having people come up and saying hello, and they tell me certain stories.
Right.
And if they're smiling and they say they enjoyed the show, and it means a lot to me to be there, because I'm happy that you are there for me.
Yep.
Buying your ticket for the show.
Yeah, I can see that. And so when people do tell you stories, there's some people that have seen Elvis, right? And that they tell you when they saw him, just like I did.
Sure.
So was there any particular story that comes to mind that they may have told you that you could share with us? You think that where they saw
there's a few where there's this, one lady actually came up with a scarf signed by Elvis.
No.
Yeah.
Wait. First of all, I didn't know that Elvis gave out scarves, so that's why you give out scarves. Because he did that.
That's why I give out scarves.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Yeah. He did that in the 1970s when he did the concerts.
I didn't know that.
He would wear a scarf out, and he would, give out scarves different times during the show. I probably give out more scarves than he did usually.
My gosh.
But I just like to do that during Love Me Tender.
Oh my God! And so she actually had one that he gave her.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, to show me.
Now that must have really turned you on and made you.
Oh, I think it's great. I mean, this is memorabilia, and I have had people give me. Actually, I'm looking at one right now. Framed photos of Elvis taken candidly backstage that they took.
Oh, absolutely amazing!
So
absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So I actually, and I have one that was given to me by a young woman that was there in Germany, when Elvis was in the Army.
Yep.
And it's a picture of her next to Elvis, and she actually had it printed. She was a photographer, and one of her people that were there with her took her camera and took a picture of her with Elvis, and she's given me that too, which is like a print that no one has.
So actually, she brought it when she came to the show, knowing she wanted to show it to you. Oh my,
and
that's
it.
That's it. Well, this has been great, Chris. I can't tell you. I just love talking to you, and everyone. I'm going 7:30. Doesn't mean you have to go in the evening, but I'm going 7:30 to the show. Be sure you go, because if you see me, I'll say hello. And Chris is there. He'll be just brilliant as ever. So, Chris, I can't thank you enough. Chris MacDonald, tribute to Elvis. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much for having me. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.